My name is Caroline. Welcome to Module 2 of Relationship Crisis, where we will be looking at ways of recognising the cognitive distortions. In the previous model, we looked at the 8 distortions, which are mind reading, personalising, all or nothing thinking, labelling, filtering, fortune telling, catastrophising, and overgeneralising. I also gave examples for each, but it may be worth looking at your own examples in this module, so you become familiar with just the ways of thinking and possibly how you could reframe it. So on the screen now, you will see a chart. This is what we call a thought diary, and it can be used to help you reframe the negative thoughts. So I now want you to think about a time when you and your partner had a disagreement, or you were feeling low about something that they've done or not done. Maybe pause the video and jot down the situation. How you were feeling, for example, low in mood, upset, angry, heart racing. Then write down what you were thinking. Dig a little deeper and write those thoughts down. And finally, your behaviour. What did you do? How did you react? How did you act? Maybe you withdrew to another room, shut yourself away, went for a walk. So the purpose of writing these things down is to notice that due to a situation, we can think a certain way, which results in us feeling a certain way. And then we behave accordingly. Quite often the thoughts that cause the emotion and feelings, which then create more thoughts and behaviours, and as a result we become stuck in a cycle. And to stop this cycle, we can write down our thoughts and feelings and behaviours and then look for what we call a hot thought. So a hot thought is a thought that you believe the most, and then we work on that. To ascertain the hot thought, you would need to put a percentage next to each thought and say how much you believed in it in that instance. I would also recommend that you put a mark out of 10 next to each emotion to gauge how much you felt that emotion at that time. So on the screen now, you will see the thought diary with an example filled in. As you can see, Sally has written she had an argument with her husband around him forgetting their anniversary. She said that she was hurt, upset, and was low in mood. Her thoughts were, he obviously doesn't care, and he can be really insensitive. And as a result, she walked out and went to her friend's house. As you can see, she's put a 10 next to the hurt feeling and 100% on the thought, he can be really insensitive. If you look at Sally's thoughts, you can identify the cognitive distortion. The first thought, he obviously doesn't care, I would say is mind reading. She is assuming he doesn't care. The second thought, he can be really insensitive, I would say she's labelling. She's used one word to describe him, and that is insensitive. So how do we work with the hot thought? This is where you look at the thought with the highest percentage and look for evidence to support this. As you can see, Sally has got, I got him a card and gift and he should have done the same. She was then asked to look for evidence against the thought. As you can see, she's written, He usually gets me a card and a really nice present. This is the first year in 18 he has forgotten. And I know he's really busy at work, so I'm sure it's just an oversight. Sally was then asked to think of a new thought based on the evidence that she's given for and against. And she wrote, "He buys me flowers regularly to tell me he loves me. So maybe he was preoccupied." She was then asked to put a percentage next to that. And she put 100%. She put 100% as she knew that was the truth. If we look at the evidence to support the thought, quite often it will be an assumption and will definitely be classed as a negative thought. If you then look at the evidence against the thought, it will usually be fact, where we have pulled on previous experiences, and it will be a positive thought as well. Using your examples, how did you find it? You may have found it difficult, and this is usually because you've been thinking negatively, perhaps for some time. And as with anything, habits form over time. And also we can break them down over time. I'd like to say thank you for listening, and remember to dig deep and repeat frequently to form a positive habit.